Hello everybody and welcome back to another video from the Theory of Racelessness. Before the clip, we have some very exciting news. Dr. Sheena Mason, Dr. Carlos Hoy, and Greg Thomas present Resolving the Racism Dilemma, a full-day conference coming up this September 24th, 2022. Register using the link in the description box down below to experience these leading voices as they explore and discuss how to correct the misguided notions of race. Now, enjoy the video.
That brings me to one of the things you said was about how progression just isn't enough for people these days, and people are expecting or even demanding perfection. That's one of my sticking points when it comes to this conversation and this type of dialogue, because the person that we were talking about earlier, definitely an archetype, not a real person, just like an imagining of a person who has racist ideas and stuff. That to me is sort of speaking to society's desire to force everyone to be perfect in ways that to me aren't only impractical but also unnecessary toward the goal, or what I think should be the goal anyway. And also it's like, also it continues to put this really negative stigma. I mean, stigma, that's a little redundant because stigma is something negative, right? It puts this stigma on what it is to be racist or have a racist idea, which I think only further lends toward deepening the divide and the problem. And that's something I hope to do through my efforts as well, as like to destigmatize what that is, because for all intents and purposes, you can be racist and still be a really great human being by most accounts, right? You can be sexist and still actually be a good human being by most accounts. So this idea
Question.
that, sure.
Could you give an example? This is for the viewers at home, the ones that might ask this. Can you give an example of being a good person and being racist? How that can happen at the same time?
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you meant like, I try to get, still man, because I want to know, like, do you mean someone that's racist can just come across as a good, or there could actually be, they're good, like they're good and racist?
That part. Because especially it's ironic to me because Christians identify themselves as sinners, right? Necessarily so, and that's why Jesus sacrificed himself for us, because we're sinners and we're not necessarily absolved of our sinning nature because we're human beings and so we sin.
Yeah.
But it's
which
like
exactly what I said.
Yeah, in part one, this thread kind of came up for us also, so it's making me giggle and smile because of how consistent we are. But the the idea that you can have some kind of bias of any kind, and that automatically means that you are a bad person and need to be canceled or whatever, deemed, dubbed a Karen, and forever like ostracized and marginalized. That to me is problematic, because it also suggests that the people who are doing that pointing aren't recognizing their own problematic ways of viewing other people and perhaps even themselves. So there's one, culpability kind of gets shifted so that nobody's taking accountability in a way. But then also, it's often the end of the conversation. Like, there's no conversation. If I identify you as racist, then that's usually the end of the conversation. And then what good does that do? Because it doesn't really leave space for you to progress as in your thinking or how you view people or how you view yourself. There's very little space for that, because we would hope that the people who said something racist online, lost their jobs, we would hope that that might inspire them, right, to go do some research, maybe educate themselves in particular ways. But that's definitely not a guarantee. And if I'm that person, I'm probably going to feel more racist. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it doesn't solve the problem. And I think that this idea that progression isn't enough for people is a crucial one in this dialogue, because ultimately the goalpost really should be one of progression. progressing, progressing how we think about any subject, any topic. It should always be a matter of progression. And we can't, like, I don't know about you, but I don't always learn a lesson immediately and just just like that, like correct course. Sometimes lessons are learned over like a lot of, hard lessons over time, right?
Yeah.
And so this idea that all of a sudden with racism it's going to be different, I feel like is a setup, because it's only going to encourage animosity, it's going to encourage lack of compassion, it's going to encourage more divisiveness, and then the problem, like, we're no closer to solving the actual problem.
Right. Yeah, and I think people are way too quick to label someone racist, and by calling all these different things racist, it's just like destigmatizes or desensitizes what actual racist acts are. I guess I see someone being racist, it's like I think of it more of an action, because you said like racism is only racism when it's active, it's an active thing, and I think racist is active as well. So I would say like someone can be prejudiced and be good. I'm sure, I mean, everyone's prejudiced in their own ways beyond race, and again, have implicit bias in their own way. I feel like if someone's racist, like they're defiantly going, like that's how they just view people and groups, and they are part of the racism that is active. That's how I see racist. Now, is that to say like, oh, they can't be saved, throw them out? No. I don't think that's even for me, and especially something like I amplify American Shade, like someone that's racist to me, like that's not the end of the conversation. That's like the start of one.
We hope you enjoyed that highlight. To watch the full version, use the link in the description box down below. Before we go, here's another reminder for Resolving the Racism Dilemma with Dr. Sheena Mason, Dr. Carlos Hoyt, and Greg Thomas. We highly encourage you check out the great things being offered at this conference, September 24th. All of the conference information is linked down below. We hope to see you there.